Good. Well, good evening. Welcome. Thanks for joining us on our team training call this evening. And we're going to follow up on what we started last night. We'll talk about the 22-month blueprint and then also how to build your business in a simple way. I think before we get going, perhaps Gatis, if you just want to give us an update on how things are going with the LinkedIn initiative, what we're trying to accomplish there, because we've got quite a few new people on the group this evening.
Good evening. Maybe before I say about how's the progress, I will just make a little explanation about the idea, so you understand where are we moving to and why is this why does this seems attractive to people who are really into the developing their network. First of all, this is most relevant not for those who want to only take care of their wealth with investment, but this is most relevant for people who want to take care of their wealth mainly with their network, with developing a network. And here we're talking about a network in NWP platform. And not only using the network they already have, but really creating a new network for them, for each of them. I don't have a flip chart. I will try to draw. And if you say if you don't see something or something seems unclear. So first, we're talking about network, social network platform called LinkedIn. LinkedIn. It is created to connect mostly business professionals. So it's people who most probably have the capacity to significantly increase the business of platform, of everybody who's involved, and really make it count. And if I talk about my network, I have over 5,000 people in it, in LinkedIn. There are some who are some mutual connections with people from other networks who are also now engaged in NWP. They might cross each other. They might be completely off my network. And here in my network, there are people from all over the world, the same as in other networks. There might be even some quite bigger network, not 5, but maybe 50,000 people engaged in the network. So the idea basically is to connect our networks and make the awareness of the project throughout all networks we are connected with, and also make the algorithm of the social network, LinkedIn, work for us for free, like a free marketing, a natural, organic marketing. How I see it can be done. First, the algorithm of every social network, including LinkedIn, is mainly based on 3 things. Which content is mostly liked, shared, and commented will be exposed the most. And not only to the network, which is not only to the network which is included in the circle of the author of the content, but if it will reach a certain level of likes, shares, and comments, it will be also made. We have to make at least 30 different, identify at least 30 different separate networks. I mean, we have to create a list of at least 30 NWP members who have a LinkedIn account and who have their network in LinkedIn. Very important that these people should not have any hint on their avatar that they are employees or co-founders or anything else very close related, meaning subjective opinion holders of NWP. So Rich, I'm sorry, but you don't count in this. As
Okay.
much I see, you are full-time NWP, which makes you are always welcome to share, like, and comment our posts, and if it will only benefit you. But for us, if I share, comment, and like your post on my network, it will be the same as, for example, I'm a producer of any item, or I'm a sales coach, for example, a sales trainer, and I will create a content which is telling something good about me.
Okay, good.
You can understand that content. Yep. That content will not be viewed as objective, as legit, right?
Right.
So, but still, you will benefit if you will comment, like, and share our contents. And you can still also contribute to the whole story. So we have to gather at least 30 people who have a network in LinkedIn, and then each day, accordingly, like sequentially. First day, for example, I'm the first in the list. I'm creating my content about NWP, and I'm connected to every one of these 30 people in LinkedIn. I create a content, I post it on my timeline. It says something good about NWP, and it also gives a link, a referral link, where somebody can join my team, for example. Then the rest of 29 of us is liking this, commenting with a link or referral link of their teams to join, also saying something good in the comment. So we have already 29 good comments, 29 likes, and 29 reposts, and those are going all around the globe. So because we are Africa, we are in Europe, we are in Dubai, we are most everywhere. Maybe somebody is already in America or somewhere else. And the more we show these seemingly very disconnected places, like geographically, business-wise, hobby-wise, etc., it doesn't show that we are a team, but it shows that we are all about NWP. There is one common denominator. It's NWP. Then everybody sees on everybody's. So I get to be on this network. I get to be on this network, People who before just saw each of us personally talking something good about NWP, now they see that one got this from somewhere in Latvia, who maybe people mostly even don't know where is Latvia. and I see, okay, even in Latvia there's NWP, and there's a guy who has actually a big network behind him, and he's even like he's an authority, and he's telling something good about NWP, and those people start to go, like they recognize, for example, this could be Ruth, because she's the first who joined, and she said, and she reposts my post, and people who are on her LinkedIn network, they seem okay. This like starts to look more serious, and they are maybe they don't react immediately, but they start to think, okay, Ruth reposted some gutties from some Latvia about NWP. The next day, Ruth is doing the same. She's creating a content. It's day 2. She's creating a content, and when she's creating content, as she's connected to all of us, she gives us a sign. Okay, I have a content. Go to my page and to my timeline, and you will see what is to be reposted, shared, and liked. Reposted, commented, and liked. And we are distributing her content again to everybody, to each of us, to these networks, and then the people start to see, okay, yesterday Gatis said something good, for example, in my network. Now Ruth in Africa, or I don't remember where you're from, but somewhere quite else, is also saying something good about NW. So the same thing is working also there. And Gatis reposted it. So people who are in my network, they see that it's already getting more serious. And then the third day, this guy, like Chris, for example, is starting to say something good about it. And we are reposting Chris' content again. And then, and we are reposting it, showing where anyone could join our network. So this is not a project about me. I don't, maybe you misunderstood last time when I spoke. I don't want your people to connect, to join my team. I'm actually like believing that Ruth's people will join her team if they will see that 30 days in a row, every day there's a, I will tell you how to also become a member of a team, and then they are all interested, like all Ruth's people or people who are connected to Ruth, they're interested to join her team, and then Chris people are interested to join Chris' team, because they see already very different contents about NWP consistently every day, from very different places. So in order to accomplish it, we need 30 people. Now we have 12. I don't know why it takes a whole week to get 12 if we know that on this chat we have 34. I don't know why people signed up the chat if they are not interested to do something about it. But obviously there are people who are like only 1/3 is interested to really act. And if they are interested, then they should join. And there's a link where you can fill your LinkedIn, like give your details about your LinkedIn profile. There's a link where you can see who else is joined, and join everybody who is there, get connected, and when we have 30, then we start. We don't start earlier. Okay. Because it takes at least 1 month to really get it going, to get the momentum. So we don't start earlier. Because if we start earlier, it seems like, okay, we're only 13 of us. So who cares? And it lasted for 2 weeks, and then it stopped. or then we start to reshare the same, or we start to go the second round. It's not about this. It's about creating the fuss about NWP on the business professionals market. So if that is clear, I expect people to join the activity and really start like building the network, and also building the network of us, because we are also a pack. We should like act all synchronized together. And if anyone has an additional idea, please come up with it. And if you want, you can lead that project. This project, I consider it like I'm not the author of the idea. I consider I just received it as an idea. It landed my mind, and I thought, okay, now it's time. I'm after launching the new web page. I understand it's time to get started, and it's also 1 year behind in the history of NWP. So it also creates some credibility enough to create some development of the movement. So if you're with me, or if you're with you, if you are for your success, without your direct investments, without hunting new network members for yourself or your teams, then this is the idea how you can get the job very easy, and you can create a demand, a natural demand for people to explain how does it work, how can they be part of it, how can they also earn, and like create the wealth in a completely different level as before.
And I can.
Okay, wonderful. Gatis, thank you so much. Thank you for your efforts and the inspiration that you give us and the explanation. So we really appreciate that. And I'm sure we all understand now why we need more people to do this, and the whole explanation that you gave. So thank you very much. Okay, so thanks to Gatis for that. Let me go back to my slides. Let's have a look at this 22-month blueprint that I discussed last night, and the thinking behind it and how it's going to work. So firstly, when we look at these type of companies, and I know there's new members on the group tonight, everyone talks about risk. And one of the questions that often gets asked is the company registered, and can I get all these papers and everything like that? Well, if you understand the last company that we were with, they were registered, but problems arise. And what happens, and what I want to say in NWP is all that paperwork's there, but there's something extra in the NWP system that causes it to self-manage. Because if you look at this picture here, and it made me think of marriage, because just because you've got a piece of paper doesn't mean your partner is going to be faithful. There's actions that need to be taken to make sure that you have a successful relationship. And what NWP has done is given us tools, and they're built into the system, and they work in our favor every single week. And that's the important thing for people to understand. So yes, the papers are there, the audits will come, all of those things, okay? That's going to come. But that doesn't change the fact that risk is always there. And the biggest factor with NWP is that risk is managed on a weekly basis. And that's what you need to understand. And that's the message that you need to get through to your people. if you remember my presentation from last night, and this is not new, it's just in a newer format of putting things, but these are the things that cause the risk to be mitigated, and that's the 50-50 profit split. The fact that everyone knows that the money is not coming, in other companies where there were referral bonuses, those referral bonuses came from somewhere, and we know that it's basically coming from other people's money, because how does the company come up with all that money to pay the referral bonuses? In the NWP system, we know that those bonuses only come on a weekly basis, and it comes from the 50-50 profit split. So there's never any deficit for the company. The company never goes into debt trying to pay bonuses. Then there's obviously the three levers of the pillars of security. Your capital is always accessible to you. It's just like a savings account. Profits are separated. And then because of those two things having to take place, it keeps the traders accountable. Because in most other companies, the traders have more experience than the managers of the company, and they can pull the wool over anyone's eyes. In this system, they can't, because you are the auditor. You check in every week. You're withdrawing your profits and deciding whether you want to put them back into the system or not. And that brings to another point. So often there's the talk, if something goes wrong, there's about your capital and about the growth. Well, there's only capital, because on a weekly basis, there's growth. And you take that growth out and you decide whether you want to make it capital or whether you want to spend it. It's that simple. So there's the issues have been removed. The problems and the questions have been removed. So that's the 55 weeks of trading that's happened. There's a track record. Everything's there. But the system has not changed, and it won't change. Now, coming to this 22 months, okay, and the interesting thing about the 22 months is the whole idea, and there's nothing new. This is the system. It's just a way of looking at the system and understanding how you can communicate the system in a very simple way to people. Because as you see on the screen here, curiosity drives learning. And what you're trying to do is make people curious. And one of the biggest factors behind 22 months is you actually could have told them 15 months, because that's what happens when they redeposit their money. But because you're not telling them to redeposit their money, they can decide whether they want to redeposit the money, which will then accelerate their result. But if they forget, because so often we see that the people forget to withdraw their profits, they think the profits are growing, they're not growing. If they're profits, they're separated, they're in the third party. People will understand that, but they don't often remember that. That's the thing. They're so used to systems that automatically compound for them. In NWP, there's no automatic compounding. You have to take your profits out. So what we're doing with the 22 months is we're saying, we've got someone here that has put his money in. He's going to put his money in on a regular basis, but he forgets to do the profit. So therefore, he's not going to get a result in 15 months. Potentially, he will only get his result in 22 months. And of course, if he now wants to go and do his own calculation, he'll actually work out that you can achieve this goal in under 22 months. But that's for him to work out. And the less information that you give people, and it's the facts, it's not information. You're giving them information, but they must decide on what is a fact or what is true for them. So if they see that compounding is true for them, well, then they can believe in compounding and they can see how it works for them. But if you're going to give people all the figures, okay, firstly, what we understand about people is, firstly, they don't know how to work out a percentage. I've had people that have followed me from network to network, and I still get them asking me how the percentage works. Because maybe I was bad at maths in school, but I think I passed. I actually barely scraped through. But other people, I don't even know how they passed because they've got no idea on how percentage works. And I think it's a simple thing, but maybe it's not simple. So let's, when we understand that things are complex, we take the complex out of the picture. And that's why I say the idea is 22 months. So let's have a look at how this 22 months is going to work. And we unpack it. So it's a blueprint to give you permanent passive income. That's the whole idea, because people want to have financial freedom. The only way you're going to get financial freedom is if you've created passive income for yourself. So the self-funding model is working like this. There's 4 steps to it. It's actually 3 steps, but it just looks better when there's 4 steps. So the first thing, the recipe behind this is that people decide what are they going to put in on a monthly basis. And that can be any amount. It's not dependent on the amount that you put in. You can put in $10 a month. You could put in maybe not 10,000 a month. You could do, but the result is going to be completely different because you fall into a different profile category. So we keep it simple. We look at the smaller amounts, and because those are really the people we want to help when it comes to building passive income. People with tens and $50,000 and $100,000, that you don't have to teach them how to make money. They understand passive income. It's the other people that we need to help. So what you do is you decide on a consistent monthly deposit for 22 months. Your capital is always available. So yes, you may have decided to commit $100 every month, $500 every month. But if you need that money that you've put in to date, you can draw it. Your capital is always available and your profits are paid to you weekly. So those are the basics. Nothing's changed. You're still putting your money into a normal portfolio and you're going to get the normal profits on a weekly basis. Then the next thing is, and this is where the difference now comes in, there's this growth phase where they're putting in their money on a monthly basis, they're getting the profits. Now, here is where the discussion comes, because you can then tell them to redeposit their profits. But what I'm suggesting is don't tell them to redeposit their profits. Let them decide for themselves what they want to do with their profits. And because you don't tell them, they're going to wonder why you didn't tell them to redeposit, because sort of natural things says, well, you must make your money grow. So now we're changing gear here a bit, and we're telling people, no, you decide what you want to do with the profits. There's 3 things you could effectively do. You could redeposit your profits, and thereby you could achieve a quicker result. Or you could actually take those profits and reduce your monthly income, or your monthly contribution. Or you could contribute that per month and then use that as a reward for yourself. And this I see as a nice opportunity for families. And what you can do here is, when you're looking at how much you want to save as a family, it means that people have to make sacrifices. So the kids can have less sweets, you can have less hobbies or whatever, but you've got to reward yourself. So as a family, you could discuss it and say, well, instead of only investing $100 every month or whatever we decided, we're going to try double that. And by doubling that, we're going to then be able to reward ourselves when the profits come in, because we make that sacrifice, but we can then get the rewards. And it's a nice way of making and involving the whole family so that they can, for me, I see it as a wonderful way to teach children how to save and to understand the system for themselves. And if you look at this little chart here, you look at month number 1, you're going to put in $100, and what you've got there is you're going to earn 5%, because that's the target, and that's what we get from the traders, at least 5%. So we work on the minimum. and you've got $5. So what you actually had to do was your contribution has then come from $100 to $95. Then if you look 6 months down the line, suddenly you've got $28.50, or that's your net after you've paid your 5% withdrawal fee. You've got $28.50 to then reward yourself, or one way or the other, you're rewarding yourself because it's meaning that you've got $28 more to spend. And if you look all the way down, you will then see that once you get to month 22, the system is earning you at least $100, and you can just carry on contributing, and you wouldn't have to then and then the reverse would happen, because then you could say, okay, we're going to carry on contributing whatever we decided, and then whatever the extra profit is, we could then take as a reward, or you can decide to do it. So it just gives you a nice way to work with things, and instead of you telling people to reinvest, you're helping them to make their own decisions. And that's ultimately the best thing you can do for people when you're dealing with them and their money. Now, if you look at the total contribution that's going to be made in 22 months, would be 2,200, and actually what's coming out of your pocket is 998. So you've now got an asset that's 2,200, but you've only spent 998. And obviously, this can be hugely accelerated if you did decide to compound. That's just a different picture completely. But this is the basics, and I believe that if we just work on the basics, we'll see the results, and people will think for themselves, because that's really what you want them to do. So at 22 months, you've reached that crucial point. There's no new deposits needed, and the profits just sustain the monthly contributions. And then, people can make their own decision. But they've had 22 months of experience. They see the value of saving, and you've actually done them a huge favor in the long run. And then you into a lifelong income. Obviously, the different levels, when you look at NWP and what they've done, the foundation is really the foundation. And, when people have got $10,000 or more, obviously they're going to be earning more per month. So that is different, and that's the growth phase. And if you look at a normal sort of family situation, earning $800 a month from the growth portfolio, that starts to make a real difference. You can pay things with $800 a month. When you're up to 50,000, well, then you really are in that freedom stage, because $5,000 a month does certainly make a difference in anyone's life, anywhere in the world. So, those are why the three portfolios are there, and it enables everyone to just grow into that situation, and that compounding effect that you get by just participating in it. Right, so the reason why one of the reasons why we've brought or introduced this 22 plan is the European market has got the structured income program, where you do exactly what I've just explained, but at the end of 12 months, and by putting in $251 for 12 months, you will get, over and above your normal profits, you will also get a trip to Istanbul. And if you were putting in $500 after 12 months, you get a trip to Dubai. And that's your flights, your hotel, 4 nights, food, and excursion. We have asked the company to look into this idea for the African market as well. So that will probably come in time. But regardless of that, this 22-month structure is good, and it also, if the reward system does come in, it'll also be there, and everyone's prepared for it. So that's the thinking behind it. Right. So before I go any further, are there any questions about this 22-month program and what I've just shared with you?
Yeah, no, my feelings, I really like this idea. It's been making me think, like with my family and my kids and what have you, to give them some ideas, even like for a holiday or something. But, the family plan and decide this is what they want and this is what they're going to need, and start working towards something like that, so that can be their reward at the end of the time,
Yes,
So yeah, I really like this idea.
that's it. Yeah. Yeah, and I've often in the past used the example of shoes. The lady buys a nice pair of shoes every month. So what you do is you're going to put away, you're not going to buy shoes for the next 22 months, but in 23 months' time, you're going to be able to buy shoes for the rest of your life, and you'll never have to worry where the money's coming from. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Any other comments or questions? Does everyone understand this? So we haven't deviated from NWP's system. We're just giving you a tool and an idea on how to market NWP to people and give them a structure. Because if you give people structure, then it's normally easier for them to understand and work with. Right, so let me go back to the slides and let's have a look at the next point. How did I build this business? Well, it was simple consistency. That's all I can say. And people, when they see you consistent, and it's working on what Gat said earlier. If you are keeping on and people see you and they see what's happening, they will start looking and they'll start questioning, and they won't necessarily join you straight away. They want to see a result, but they want to see your story. But the consistency is stronger than a story, because because a lot of people will tell a story, and the next time you see them, they're telling you a story about something else. And all I did was stuck to my NWP story. That was what I decided I wanted to do, and I felt comfortable with it, and I started to tell the story. Now, it wasn't easy because, when you're pioneering something, there is no track record, so there is nothing for anyone to go on. So all they're going to do is watch you. And people don't know that NWP has been going for a year when you tell them anything. They're still going to be watching you. And it's important to create that consistency. So how did I create that consistency? Because it's a plan. It's not just something that happens. You have to plan it and you have to work it. So at the start, I sent this little message out on the left, and I got no response. Okay, because no one wants to join anything new. As much as we think people are excited about new things, they don't like new things because new things mean they have to work harder. People like to be sort of on the top of the curve. They don't like to be early adopters. So unfortunately, for most of us here, we're still early adopters, so we have to work. And you have to then ride the top of the wave, and then you might find that you're on the wrong side of the wave, but that doesn't matter. Okay, because the NWP is going to be here forever, and it's a company, and this is the one post on the right here that I put out. And I asked this simple question, and this is what got people interested, because I didn't post anything else. That was my post. That's all I put on my WhatsApp, and that was my approach. Just WhatsApp, because you can put out the updates. And then on Telegram, if you don't have a subscribed Telegram or a paid Telegram account, you can put out one post every 7 or 10 days. So you put them out when you can. That's the post I put out. And people no one would comment, but they would look, because you can actually see who looks. And you see, but the same people keep looking at this thing. And I was still learning about the company, so I didn't really know what to say, or, when we start, we never know what to say. So we had to learn what to say. And then I started just simply putting out the trading results. And the first time I put out the trading results was at the beginning of December. I joined at the end of October, but I only sort of figured out what to do. And also, I needed to look at the last 4 weeks to give a trading result. So that's what I did. And we still do that and just changed the look of it a bit now. But you can see the results, and I posted this to my group, the one on the left, and I posted the right-hand side to the Instagram and, on social media. And it just started from there. Then what we did was I made a video, and this was 26 weeks after I'd started, so that would have been April or somewhere there. But this was the video, and I'm going to play it for you because you'll see that not much has changed. There's a few little nuances here and there that have changed, but this was what I said.
Hi everyone, I'm Richard Simmonds. I know a lot of you watching this are probably feeling quite skeptical when it comes to online investment platforms. Believe me, I completely understand. After experiencing a few disappointments myself, I approached the whole idea with a great deal of hesitation. That's precisely why I waited a full 26 weeks before sharing my honest experience with NWP. For many of us, the thought of putting our hard-earned money into an online system can be genuinely scary, especially with all those stories out there. But what if I told you you could actually explore this for the cost of what you might typically spend on a lunch? One of the first things that stood out for me about NWP is the accessibility. You can start with as little as $10. Think about it. That's often the price for a quick meal out. For that relatively small amount, you have the opportunity to see how the system operates and experience it firsthand. It's not a massive financial commitment, and for many, it might be the risk you're willing to take to potentially find a reliable way to earn. When I first started seeing the weekly profits come in, they weren't these inflated, unbelievable figures that often make you question the legitimacy of an online platform. Instead, the returns have been consistent and, in my opinion, suggest a really careful and considered approach to their trading strategy. It felt like they were focused on steady, sustainable growth rather than chasing high-risk, get-rich-quick schemes, and that was significant comfort for me. The way NWP handles our money also gave me a greater sense of security. The weekly profits aren't just automatically reinvested within the system. They're actually sent out to a completely separate payment company, a third-party payment gateway, where the profits are available for immediate withdrawal, as long as you have a minimum of $5. This means that the money isn't just being moved around internally within NWP's platform without transparency. The fact that I have to actively choose to reinvest gives me a clear and direct view of my earnings. Furthermore, for anyone who's ever felt uneasy about locking their initial investment away online, NWP offers a crucial level of control. You can withdraw your initial capital whenever you need to. Knowing that I had the option to take my original money out if circumstances changed or if I simply no longer felt comfortable was a huge factor in me feeling secure enough to try NWP in the first place. It's like having a safety net or an escape hatch if things didn't feel right down the line. Based on my experience over these past 26 weeks, NWP, which is an asset management company registered in Ankara, Turkey, has prioritized a steady and transparent approach. Their focus on consistent weekly profits, the secure way they manage withdrawals through a separate payment system, and the control they provide over your initial capital has been key in building my trust. They haven't made outlandish promises, and their results, in my personal opinion, align with what I would expect from a conservative trading strategy. Transparency is key, and I want to share my full experience. Now you might be wondering, what's Richard's motivation for sharing this? And that's a fair question. One of the things I actually like about NWP's referral system is that it's not based on upfront commissions. Unlike those companies who heavily focus on recruitment and often charge ongoing monthly subscriptions, that's where the real money is made for the referrer, regardless of whether the people they bring in are actually profiting. These subscription fees can create a system where the focus is more on continuously signing people up to fund those commissions rather than actual success for the investor. My impression is that NWP is taking a different approach, focusing on the long term. It seems to be about creating happy investors and the idea that those satisfied investors will naturally share their positive experiences, leading to a more organic and sustainable growth for the company. Because of this, I only earn if you are making a profit. So if you remain with NWP and continue to generate weekly earnings, I will earn 10% of those earnings. The great part is that the 10% doesn't come out of your profits at all. It's a separate reward paid by the company for helping to build a successful community. This means my success is directly linked to your success, which I believe creates a much better alignment of interests compared to systems where the referrer gets paid a lump sum, or even recurring commissions just for sign-ups regardless of the outcome. It's also worth mentioning that while anyone is welcome to earn by referring other people to NWP, the core focus of the company, in my opinion, remains on the investor and their profitability. Ultimately, my experience is just that, mine. But I genuinely believe that sometimes the best way to overcome skepticism is to see for yourself. If you are at all curious and that initial fear is holding you back, maybe consider taking that small first step. Invest the cost of the lunch you might have had anyway and experience it firsthand. You have the control to withdraw your initial capital if you ever feel uneasy, so the initial risk is really quite minimal. I'm here to answer any questions you might have, and if you feel comfortable taking that small step, I'd be happy to guide you through the simple process of registration and making your initial investment. Thank you.
Right, so that was and you'll see there that a few things have changed. I mean, we don't get a 10% referral anymore. The bonus of referral has now gone up to 15%, so that was quite a while ago. But I did start getting results from that interaction. Then came the triple booster, which was the booster that was available at the end of April, and people joined on that one. And I made this little video.
April special offer. NWP has 2 special ways to boost your earnings. Triple booster. Put in $30. Your earning power goes up right away to $90. You will earn money each week based on this $90. Once you have earned a total of $90, this boost ends. Remember, the $90 you earned already includes your first $30. It's not given back to you. Twin booster. Put in $10. Your earning power goes up right away to $20. You will earn money each week based on this $20. Once you have earned a total of $20, this boost ends. Remember, the $20 you earned already includes your first $10. It's not given back to you. Important things to know. Each person can only choose one of these boosts. This special offer ends on April 30th, 2025. So think carefully about which one is best for you.
Right, and then from there, I just started sharing more things, the trading results on a weekly basis, which now comes out on the groups, and you get these on a weekly basis, and you can share them on your social media as well. All about the Twin Rise booster, and that video that he just described, the Twin booster. The Twin booster is now, instead of $10, it's $100, and instead of going to $20, you get $200 as your base. So that's the changes, and that's what I shared, and that's what I consistently share, and that's what I suggest to everyone. Just be consistent, share on a weekly basis. The same people will watch you because they always do, and eventually they will join. I know some people have watched me for over 6 months. Some have watched me since December last year, and they've just joined recently, or they're still thinking of joining. So they are around, and that's what's going to happen. So just use the consistency to your advantage. There is a Twin Rise booster tablet promotion. The first tablet promotions happened on the triple booster. Now there's the Twin Rise booster tablet promotion, and you've got up until probably the 13th of December to get your 15 people on the left-hand side of your team, 15 people on the right-hand side of your team. If you've got that, you get the tablet. if you can get more than that, we'll find out there's normally a travel reward as well that's on, but can get you more details about that. The tablet is something that's relatively simple to achieve. Last time we had 5 people that achieved the tablet, and it's not just your own effort, it's in your team. So if you can see here, the people that are white in this one and the greens are the people with the twin boosters. So it just gives you an example. All your people don't have to have twin boosters, just needs to be 15 on the left. And there can be other people in your team that qualify as well for the, if they've got 15 on their left, 15 on the right, they qualify as well. So that is there just so that you know there is a promotion if you are building your team. Right, and that is my little spiel for this evening.
Yeah, Richard, just a quick one. After what Gattis had said tonight, are we now going to stop with the LinkedIn until we've got 30 people? Or carry on and hopefully we get our 30 as we're going along to keep posting?
Well, yes, I mean, it was quite interesting, and I think I learned a bit from that, because maybe what we should do, okay, is instead of posting about NW, this is when we haven't got 30 people, okay, what we should do is look at different things we can post. So let's say we've got 7 people. Then what happens is we'll rotate it so that maybe this week you'll put something on about savings or something about money, just so that people can understand that you are the type of person that shares about financial things. And then the next person can do like a motivational type of quote that he posts out. And then the third person might put something about NWP, just so that you can sort of curate your followers and that they see that you are interested in money. Because it's also about the algorithm and what the algorithm suggests to you. If you're always talking about, I'll use your example of magnetic fishing, well, then if, you're going to be suggested friends who do magnetic fishing. Whereas if you keep sort of posting about money, then the LinkedIn algorithm will suggest people who have similar interests to you, and they look at your interests according to what you've been posting. So then they'll start suggesting people in the money arena to you, or people that are interested in entrepreneurial type of things with making money. You get my picture. So I don't think we won't stop. We'll just sort of work out sort of a different way of putting out the messages if our group is still small. Obviously, if the group's still big, well, then you can put one post out every 30 days. But even if you were in that group of 30 days, I still suggest that you do other posts which would keep your normal followers who follow you, or your network that hasn't quite connected to the rest of everyone, to still be interested in you and not lose focus of what you do. So that would be my suggestion, going on top of what Gata said.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Because it's all about consistency. So, and it doesn't mean you have to be consistent about NWP. It's just that when people think about Paula, they think, oh, she's the lady who knows about money or talks about money. And that's sort of when they can figure out that you're the person that's interested in money, talks about wealth, talks about prosperity and investing or whatever, then they start relating more to you. And when you give them a post about NWP, then they can understand also why you put out a post about NWP, because that's where your interest lies. Otherwise, if you talk about fishing every day and suddenly put out a post about NWP, well, then they go, yeah, okay, the people who fish also need money, but they'd much rather read your post on fishing than they would about money if they don't know you for that. So it's about sort of chumming the water with your financial stuff so that when you do give them the NWP stuff that they're almost ready for it. That's the idea. But you do it on a sort of a natural type of thing. It's not. So, like I say, you talk. It must always look real. That's the thing. When you're authentic and when you're true to yourself and what your needs are. So and that's what we do. And then when you do post about NWP, people identify why you posted about NWP, because that's what your need was.
Hi there, Rich and Mark here.
How's it, Mark?
Yeah, I was just, one of my concerns was as with the using the LinkedIn setup. As I know, LinkedIn was the whole thing about LinkedIn. It was started up for business and for people to connect within their different professions and things like that. We must just be careful that we work within those guidelines of LinkedIn, because we can get kicked out and things like that. There are certain restrictions and there's certain things. So I think we need to understand what LinkedIn also does for everybody in the business community, rather than just being a social network type of a platform.
Well, yes,
I
yes,
think
exactly. Yeah. No, you're right, Mark. And I mean, if you look at LinkedIn, it was the big thing there is to be, the idea of LinkedIn when it first started was to be a thought leader. So and when you are, like I suggested, about talking about money, that sort of creates you make yourself a soapbox as a thought leader about money. And you don't have to be the authority on money, but if that's your interest and you're sharing other posts about money and quotes about money and that sort of thing, people start identifying there. Because when you're not selling them anything. That's the whole idea. And I mean, you're just sharing what you're doing and your experience. When you do share about NWP, and the other time you're just talking about money in general, savings, those type of things. So it is a very subtle approach, but and it's not. I suppose what you're saying is we mustn't take this hard-nosed approach, and I agree with you completely. It is a subtle approach, and people who are looking find you. Those who don't look, you haven't actually offended them because you just shared your experience. Andrew, over to you. I see you got your hand up.
Yes, Rich. If you start selling your product on LinkedIn, you're going to get put straight into jail.
Yeah.
They freeze your account. Yeah. They freeze your account for, I think, 30 days, if I'm not correct. Or if I'm correct, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they keep watch on you like a freaking hawk. I know. I've been frozen.
Yeah.
On there, yeah. But anyways, Rich, as you know, I've just started. If you can send me some more training material, I'll appreciate it.
Sure. We have probably the easiest training material to look at is the Zoom meetings. There's the recording. So to the Zooms, I'll send you last week's Zoom, because that was still the older one, not the updated one, because I didn't record last night. I'll record tomorrow night again. And and then we'll get you up to speed as soon as possible. There's also the little booklet which I'll put that into the group again. There's the booklet on the affiliate plan, and there's the booklet on how to get started, which is always a good thing just to read through and familiarize yourself with, because those two things basically tell you about the whole system.
Thank you, Rich.
Okay, great pleasure. Yeah, I just, and on what Andrew said about LinkedIn, Gautis mentions putting your link to your, well, you're welcome to put your referral link if you want to. But I see that as, if they want to join, they'll ask you for your link. Putting it there is not going to force them to join, and it's not going to do anything. Your most important thing with any of these type of networks is to start a discussion with a person. Let them ask the question, and when they're interested, then you send them the link. You don't have to put it on your post. You'll notice that those who I've helped with the posts this week, we never put any referral links or anything like that. You purely want to create interest, and when the people are interested, they'll come to you. We're not in a hurry. It's not a product marketing company, this, where we have to push the sales and we have to get the people in, because if you don't get in today, you're going to miss out. Hey, you're not going to miss out here. This will be here for a long time. You really don't have to worry. Yes, we'd like to get people because obviously we'd like to make money, but that's never the focus here. We want people to be happy, and we don't have to push them. They'll join when they're ready, as we all know, as we all did. So yeah, that's the approach. Yeah. Good.
Rich,
Yes, Paul.
just going back to what Andrew was saying about that, if you're trying to sell your or advertise your business on LinkedIn, with us just posting on NWP, will that not be seen as trying to promote our business or sell our business, or however you put it?
Well, we will look at our posts just in case, but I don't think so. I don't think any of the posts that I've seen so far have been trying to. It's sharing the experience and what you did. I mean, even your post today, it just talks about, it's sort of borderline, but I don't think it's an oversell. Your post today was just sort of mentioning the benefits that you see from the system and the experience that you've seen and benefited.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's not. You didn't, for instance, in your post, you didn't try and entice people with percentages or a promise of a return. Those are the things that are normally really flagged when you're saying this is the promise of the return and this is what you can get. Like we on, for instance, putting the trading result. And some of the guys might be sort of borderline on that, and we probably just got to look. Or they've got to take the chance and get kicked out themselves. Because some of those posts that people put up, well, they put the trading results, and they might get a warning or they might get kicked out. I don't think putting a trading result on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp, the people and you interact with them more. That's different from putting it on LinkedIn, for instance. The weekly trading result, I don't think it's necessary to do that on, or just you might put the trading result at the bottom of the triple booster or the booster promotion if you want to post that. But I also don't think it's necessary. I think people would see the benefit of it without, and then they'd ask you what the result is. And I think that's, at the start, when we were still at the very start, it was the results that it was all about. Now it's about the experience and the consistency. The results are there, and people know they're there. They don't have to see them. They can ask for them. And, that was one of the reasons why NWP put the results into our back office now, so that we can see that and we don't have to keep looking for it. It's there, it's transparent, we know what the results were. It's about the consistency and the experience, no longer the results as much as it used to be.
Okay, thanks.
Pleasure. I mean, everyone has their own approach as well. So, you know, that's, I think that often people on social media will post things, and eventually, if they're getting no results, they will change the way they post things so that they can get a result. Otherwise, you know, it's like Einstein says, then you're just mad. You know, you're doing the same thing expecting different results. So that's what social media teaches people, is that, you know, I'll post, and if I get a result, I'll post that again. If I don't get a result, I'm going to try change the way I do things to see when I get a result, because, you know, it's all about attention. That's what we're looking for when we're posting on anything. Are we getting attention? And, you know, we gauge that for ourselves. If we post something on WhatsApp and we get 10 views, and we've never got 10 views before, that's great. If we normally get 30 views and suddenly a post only gets 10 views, well, then we know, this post isn't so popular. Let's rather go back to the posts that get 30 views or whatever we normally get. And I think that's the way that, you know, they call it social regulation, or, you know, we regulate ourselves socially because we want to be recognized, we want to be seen, and we do things to make us get seen. And if, you know, and that's generally what happens. So if we're selling and everyone's buying from us, well, then we're going to keep on selling. You know, if no one's buying, then we're going to find different ways to send our message and get people to engage with us. And that's really the beauty of social media, because it teaches us that, because it's all about the feedback we get. I think that was a great meeting. Thank you for the interaction. Thanks for attending. Please, you're on the groups now. If there's anything you need, just contact me. If you're unsure about something, please, you know, especially when it comes to crypto and helping your people and that sort of thing. I helped a lady the other day. She sat with the wrong crypto in her account since March, and no one had helped her since March to just simply exchange the crypto that she had so she could get the right crypto to get it into the NWP system. And I mean, it literally took me 2 or 3 minutes. I swapped it for something that she was able to use, and we got it into the system. So, you know, if you're unsure, just ask. There's always a solution. We will find the solution and we'll help the people. Don't let them hang around and wait because you're not sure. Please just ask, you know. We do it very simply. I go onto a WhatsApp call with you. You share your screen. I'll show you what to do, what to touch, where to do it, and guide you step by step, and until you're comfortable to do that yourself. I know I've got no problem to do that. Okay, so yeah, don't worry. I would rather you spend the time and learn how to do it and feel comfortable than worry and not be able to help people. So yeah, great. Andrew, yes.
I just want to add on to there regarding LinkedIn, the sales type of thing. You have to build a network, and you have to build a network with people. So you need to attract people that is on another level than that you are. So you need to attract financial people. So you need to befriend them with becoming friends with them on the network. So it's more networking than selling. Once they become friends, that's when the selling starts. Otherwise, you're going to have problems on there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, you're quite correct. It's simple networking. You're 100% right, Andrew. People, I won't keep you any longer. Do have a good evening further. We will see you on the call tomorrow night. If you're going to join us, keep well and look after yourselves. God bless. Cheers.